Ron, how do you rate this draft, and do you think you can get a difference maker at 17?
I think it's a good draft, but not a great draft. It's funny, you talk to the amateur scouts every year, and 4 out of 5 years are bad drafts, and that 1 year is a good draft. No, the 1 year is the exception. 4 out of 5 are pretty much the average draft. With our pick this year at 17, we've got a small range of players that we think we're going to get, and we think we're going to get a good player. Impact player. It's hard to say impact, but I think we're going to get a good player at 17.
Is there anybody?
You've had good fortune drafting the organization outside the top 10, say, like Williams, Gagne, Giroux. What qualities, what traits do you look for that perhaps can make you spotted a player that perhaps makes him an NHL prospect?
Well, the commitment to becoming a player is huge. I mean, if you look at the guys that you talked about, and a lot of the guys that are drafted later in the draft, typically it's guys that are really willing to put in the time and the effort and do what it takes to be an NHL player. And Justin Williams is a good example. He's still ticking. And really, you look at Justin Williams and you say there's a kid who's always wanted to play the game. He's always put the time in. He's dedicated, and quite honestly, loves to play the game. And that's the type of character that we'll be looking for is guys that are willing to put in the time and effort. And really, you as a scout, you should be able to see on the ice the guys that really yearn to play and love to play the game. It should come out.
What's the most valuable? Is it power forward? What's the most valuable piece? Is there such a thing?
Well, I probably because of my background, but I tend to go with you guys haven't heard the end of it. But I'd go with the defenseman. I think I know you thought I was going to say goalie, but I think defenseman. It's hard to win. It's hard to win without them. You can have great forwards, but someone's got to put the puck on their stick and think the game and keep the puck out of your net. And it's defensemen are valuable pieces, and people don't. I don't think people value them enough. You look at it's easy to look at a forward and say, oh, the guy got 80 points or the guy got 25 goals or whatever, and a defenseman, well, he got 7 goals and 15 assists, and it's kind of like, but this same guy shut down, the best players on the other team, and you can't. It's hard to quantify that, but you watch the game long enough and you go, this is a valuable guy. To have a guy to play against the other team's top line, it's pretty hard to put a value on that.
At 17 and 18, is it also harder to identify that?
Well, they're typically gone. But yeah, I think defenseman, it's a harder read. To get a guy that's just a really good defender, and on a junior team he might have 5 goals and 10 assists, but he's a great defender. He's a big guy. He plays against the other team's top lines. I mean, you don't win without those types of guys. So but yet we don't want to value them probably as high as we should. I mean, that's you look at teams and you look at the high-scoring defensemen and your top 6 forwards, and maybe your third-line center as a checking guy, but you don't talk a lot about the guys that shut people down. And the way the game is now, it's such a fine line, and it's so hard to score. You got to be hard to score against. You have to be, or you're not going to be successful.